What's good, y'all? Wave Magnetik here again with another tutorial. Today I'm gonna show you how I made my track Puttem Up. It just came out like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. And yeah, make sure you stream it on Spotify and Apple Music and whatnot. If you haven't heard it yet, this is what it sounds like here. Alright, so now I'm just going to break it down and show you how I made the track, alright? So, the very first thing I did was I made this sound right here. So that's the basic chords of the verse section of it. Now the way I did it, I kind of just made a piano. No. I made a Rhodes. I have a Fender Rhodes back here. And I recorded some chords. And I don't even think I put them in that order. I just made some chords I thought that sounded pretty cool. And then I chopped them up and stretched them out. Like, I just stretched them out and made this real warbly kind of sound. And I just kind of put them together and it came out to be this chord progression. So then I expanded on that. Okay. But that's what it pretty much sounds like. Then let's see here. On top of that, I just have my drums right here. And this is the basic drum pattern. So, you know, on the verse section, I made it sound a little bit more subdued. I took off some of the high end on the kick right there. And, you know, I gave it some more punch by giving it a little compression, a little bit of EQ. EQ and compression is your friend when it comes to mixing, y'all. So don't just rely on the sound and just don't do anything to it. I mean, sometimes you got to not do nothing to it, but a lot of times you got to make it a little bit more punchy or bring out certain frequencies or something. So in this instance right here on the verse, I wanted it to be a little more chill. So I put a low pass filter on it. So like if you listen to the kick without the low pass, right? And you listen to it with it. That something simple like that is enough to make it so that the track brings down the energy so that you can go somewhere for your verses. All right. And then it's just a clap here. That's pretty standard kind of clap sound. It's just kicking the clap going on in the verse. And I have my chords here. And then I have my layered trumpets. One of the tricks to when you're layering instruments or when you're playing an instrument is when you layer them, it has a certain kind of sound to it. So like, listen to this. Right? That's two trumpets together, right? Now, if I just make it one and you listen to it in the track, like that sounds good. It's cool. But this isn't a solo. I'm really trying to create a vibe with the melody. So sometimes if you just layer it up just with one other of the same thing. This goes for vocals. This goes for trumpet, trombone. This goes for saxophone. Sometimes if you just layer it just with two of the same sound, I mean same melody and everything, and listen how it sounds. So that right there just creates a certain kind of, it creates a sound. I mean, you could do it any way you want to, but that's the way I do it that I feel really gives an impact to the sound. And then I got a bunch of like counter melody things right here. So if you listen, You see that? Bop, 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 bop. Let me solo that for you. Right, and that comes in right at the time, and right when that happens, I bring in the trombone parts. So that right there is just a trombone part that is the exact melody, the same thing that the trumpet's playing, the trombone is playing it just down the octave. It really fills out the horns and makes the melody sound bigger. And crazy thing is that the key thing to doing this is really simple. Did I do? Oh, I bounced it down. But the way you do this is if you play trumpet, you don't even need a trombone player to make this happen, especially in Ableton. You just record the trumpet part and then you pitch it down the octave here, right? You just pitch it down. And then you change it to complex, and then you get this sound of a trombone. It's really crazy how this works. Okay, so I'm not going to change it because it's already set up that way, but that's how you get that trombone sound. Okay, and then here's a little thing too. Every time something happens, I have like some like whoosh sounds and different things, like sound effects. They really help with the transitions. So right there, what I did was I automated. This is the reverb, yeah. So right when this little red line right here automates that bang, so that it goes to this long reverb here, and it creates almost like it's a throw, right? And at that moment, I bring in my tambourine. Right, so here's some of the rules. Every 4 or 8 measures, depending on the tempo of your song, you should change something. Okay, so I changed by having the tambourine come in, and then I brought in a bass that I made. Right, and it's a really simple bass. I mean, I made it in the wavetable. It's probably just a sub. I mean, that sounds like it's just a sawtooth wave that I did it with, right? And then here's another transition sound. I have this thing, I call it a sine fall, but it's basically an 808 that just drops down the octave. I made this in Serum. It's really simple. You just make it so that the sound pitches down an octave, and you make it go for as long as you want to, a measure or 3 beats or whatever. Check it out. You see what I'm saying right here? This sound here. That kind of thing is the impact sound. It really helps with transitions. Then I have this drop, or not drop, I have the break going on right here. And I put a little bit of, if I can find it, where's it at? Yeah, right here. I really changed it up, changed the sound up. So like I filtered off the high end, filtered off some low end, brought out the mid range. The high mids are extraordinarily high. Put some tape saturation on it. I have a de-esser on here so that I can get rid of that frequency right there, because it gets kind of crazy sometimes. And then I put a tube delay on the trumpets right here, just so that on the break, just to give it a little bit of a change rather than having the trumpet sound exactly the same. Check it out. Right, so that right there, doing things like that really makes the song push along, even though you're using the same sounds. Because I know a lot of EDM cats, they change the sounds a lot of different sections, but when you're using organic instruments, it don't always work that way, and you may not want that vibe. You want certain things to sound organic, and that's what I did to it. So then I have this build up section here. and it has this sound, this riser. It's pretty epic. And then I have this whoosh. That whoosh signifies that it's about to start. Now this whoosh is the rising up whoosh. See, sometimes if you add the noise that goes up with the riser sound that you create, it kind of works together with the drums, all that kind of stuff, creates all this energy and goes into I actually said these words. Oh, shoot. I said this right here. That's actually me. So we get... Right, so now I got the drop melody going on. Again, it's just layered trumpet right here, and then octave down is the trombone playing the same exact melody here, and then I just throw in some harmony parts every once in a while. So like this right here is a little harmony part, just to accent certain things. All right, and that goes on. Right, and then I also have this like bell kind of sound that I use it as just like an accent, just to accent different notes of the melody so that they poke out. Put a lot of reverb on it, and just like, yeah, it's the same notes as the melody, just at pointing out certain ones. It doesn't play all of the notes. You see what I mean? So it really just makes certain notes just kind of pop out and make them stay in your head. Let's see here. Then I have a bass right here. The bass is really simple. It's just an 808 that I made, and it pitches up and down, and it follows the pattern of the kick. Just so you can hear it. Let's solo the kick and the bass. You see what I mean? Like, it ain't got to be on every single kick drum, but you don't want them to be separate often. You kind of want them to be together. You might be able to have more kicks than basses, but you don't want to have more times that the bass comes in than the kick does, if that makes sense. But then again, sometimes, whatever's grooving, man, just do that. But in general, you want them to line up, okay? Then I got some hi-hats going on here. You see what I'm saying? They just kind of fill in and just help the vibe, okay? And then I go into this right here, which is the pad that's coming in, but just the reverb, and it's reversed. So that right there is the same sound right here, but it's just a lead up to kind of give you a clue. Like it's kind of like a transition or like a fill. It's letting you know that this is a sound that's coming in, and we sneak it in. Right? And this is just a saw pad. This is a sawtooth pad. This is really simple, and I have the one knob on it, just to almost like it's a tremolo, just to have some rhythm to it. Right? So, and then I changed the melody again of the horns. The horns, it's the same thing where it's just the trumpet and the trombone, and I think there might be a couple of more harmonies. Actually, no, it's not harmonies. I have more trumpets. What I did was I made it so that it's 3 octaves. So this is the high. These 2 are the high ones. And I double everything. These 2 are the mid ones. And then this is the trombone down another octave. So it's 3 octaves for the main drop. So it sounds really big. And it just feels good. Now I have this counter melody that comes in every once in a while, which sounds like this. And it's the same concept, trumpet and trombone and octaves. And it just fits in with the melody. You see what I mean? So, yeah, that's pretty much it with that. Let's see here. Then we go back to the verse, which is pretty much the same exact thing as before. And this time, after the last drop, where I add a build because I go into halftime. So this is a really cool thing. You got your regular, you got your drum beats, right? And whatever that is, it's right here. All I did to make it halftime was I made it so that the kick pattern is pretty much the same. All right. I cut out half of the snares. So here the snare is going, the snare is going here. Right? So now if I wanted to feel like halftime, I just make the snare be half as long. You see that? And then when you listen to it in the halftime section, it sounds like this. If you listen, it's the same exact kick drum pattern. And I have a ride going on all 4 beats. But I even have the hi-hats. I think I still have the hi-hats in here, don't I? No, I don't have the hi-hats. Okay, so I took the hi-hats out. And I just have this ride going on all 4 beats. And I slowed down the snare drum. And it feels halftime now, right? So I have this build going on. When I filter the drums. So if you look, I took off the high end. Right? So that right there helps with the build up. And then you just hold the root note in the bass right here. It's the same bass as before. And then I have some chords going on. See, they have a filter on them too. Let's see here. And then what I did was I took the horns. I bounced down the horns. I think this is what this is. Let me make sure. Yeah, so I bounced down the horns, the reverb of the horns, and on the last note. And then I just chopped it up so that it would go with the build. So this is actually the horns right here. And it's just the reverb of it, chopped up. So check it out in context. You see what I'm saying? That's the horns rising up. That's just the horns rising up. And then I have this riser and the same thing as before with the white noise and the riser and everything. And then the change here, it's the same exact melody before with the halftime groove. And now I have the trombone just doubling the bass. Check it out. Yeah. And that's really cool. That adds, gives it a lot of weight. Gives the bass a lot of weight, makes it really feel epic. Because the way you make a song sound epic is when you have the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows going on at the same time. It's just like it's not, see here, everything is really like small. But if you have it all like this, then it feels big. And I mean, that's really classic stuff. That's even in classical music, man. Like Mahler 5 and all that kind of stuff, man. All of them, well, I wouldn't call them songs, but all of the suites and everything, they have moments like that. Like that's what the trombones, that's what the tubas, that's what the basses are for. And then the trumpets and the violins is super high up. And that's what I did right here. So that's pretty much how I made Puttem Up. All right. So if you enjoyed this video, you learned something new, make sure you hit the like button below and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you're on Facebook, make sure you share this video and go to my page and like it. There's also a button where you can hit the see first so that you'll know next time I put out a video again there too. So all right, you guys, make sure you stream Puttem Up on Spotify and Apple Music, and I will see y'all later. Peace.